Yes, I would die for you, baby. But you won't do that.
I'm Nathaniel Drew of the Salt Lake Pops Orchestra. I write music for film, but I also write music for the Salt Lake Pops Orchestra. I've written and produced music with Lindsey Sterling, David Osmond, Alex Boyer, Jesse Funk, Johnny Kay, Jen Marco, some amazing, amazing artists. I want to take you through my process from the beginning to the very end of the process and teach you exactly what to do to create your own music. The first thing we need to do is we need to start with assets.
Is that I got your grenade for ya? You know I'd do anything for ya.
This is my home studio. Let's talk about the computer first, because to me that's the most important piece of gear in your studio. You want to have as much RAM in your computer as possible because music is RAM intensive. Now, if you're going to be doing any sort of video, you also want to make sure you have a good video card so that when you're rendering, it doesn't take as long.
But you won't do the same.
Up here on the desk are my M Audio speakers. I recommend you go to a store like Sam Ash or Guitar Center, especially if they match prices, and just listen to them, see what you like, and grab a pair. Below the speaker is a headphone amp. I recommend you grab one of those. And next to that is the Cubase controller. You really don't have to have one of these, but it came with Cubase, so it was kind of a nice addition. And up here on my rack, I have several different audio interfaces. I recommend you get one with USB 3, Firewire, or a Thunderbolt connection. Now, I like PreSonus's because you can actually daisy chain them together so that you can grow when you need more mics. And up here above the rack, I have a TV for my film scoring, so I can put the video up there and work with my other monitors on the actual music. My computer, by the way, is from PC Laptops. I had a PC Laptop computer before the series even began, and I approached them because I think their computers are amazing. If you can find a store like PC Laptops where they guarantee their work and parts so that you don't have to mess with the computer and waste your time on that, you're just going to be able to sit down and write music. Over here on the side is my tablet. I like to do a lot of MIDI percussion from this. In the middle is my MIDI keyboard. I have an Oxygen 49. It's actually a fairly inexpensive keyboard, but what makes it great is it has the pitch bend and modulation on the side. It has tons of assignable faders and knobs so that you can do electronic music on it. I can even use these transport buttons to control Cubase with. I can push play or stop or record or whatever I want. It's a nice small keyboard that doesn't take up a bunch of room on my desk. And last but not least, I recommend you have a microphone, at least for vocals. I have a Neumann TLM 102. It's amazing for vocals, but it's also great in its dynamic range for instruments as well. I also recommend that you get a pop filter. Now, these aren't very expensive, maybe 20 bucks, but they make a huge difference in your vocals.
I'll give you all I had, you tossed it in the trash.
I'm going to post a list of all of this hardware in the description below, so check that out. And now on to the software you'll need. First off, you'll have to choose a digital audio workstation to work from. So that's Cubase, Protools, Logic, FL Studio, Reaper, Ableton Live, Digital Performer, Sonar, any of those work great. I use Cubase. And with Cubase, you're going to want to find a sampler. I recommend you get Kontakt. Kontakt is just so versatile and will hold all of the different sound libraries you're going to want. As far as sound libraries go, I recommend LA Scoring Strings and Project Sam Symphobia. They have amazingly realistic sounds, and they don't take up a bunch of space. I also use a lot of East-West sample libraries, especially Hollywood Strings and Hollywood Brass. These are amazing libraries if you have a fast enough computer, but they do take up a lot of space. East-West other libraries are pretty amazing as well. Goliath just has a ton of sampled sounds. Ministry of Rock, that is an amazing library. And Fab 4, they've sampled all of the Beatles sounds. So that's a pretty amazing sound library as well. That's it for this week. Make sure to look in the description. I have listed all the assets down there that we need to start really making some great music. Click here to check out the rest of my music, and make sure to subscribe so that you get all the rest of the tutorial. Click here to purchase the soundtrack music to this video on iTunes. Also, help us keep our amazing sponsor, PC Laptops. Their link is down below, and they have some really amazing computers. The next tutorial is on setting up an amazing project. Until next week, let's start making some amazing music.